Hey everyone! I noticed we've been doing a great job with adding and subtracting numbers with different denominators, fractions with different denominators. The one thing I notice keeps tripping us up is those mixed numbers, so let's practice that today. A mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. So for example, this is 1.5. Here's 1.5 apples. We can read it as 1 and 1/2. So anytime you see the big number with a fraction, this is a whole number and this is the fraction. Now, if you're adding mixed numbers with the same fraction denominator, no problem. We know that 1 1/4 plus 2 1/4 would be 3 2/4. It's easy because these are both fourths, so I can add them with no problem. It gets a little tricky when we have a different denominator. So this is halves and this is fourths. So just like we learned yesterday, I'm going to use an equivalent fraction. Instead of half, I'm going to make it into fourths because 4 is the greatest denominator. So I know 1/2 equals 2/4. So now I can easily add 3 wholes plus 1 whole is 4 wholes, and then 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So when we use an equivalent fraction, this becomes pretty easy. So I did 3 2/4 plus 1 1/4 equals 4 3/4, because I know that 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Now let's look at a subtraction problem. I have 2.5 minus 1 3/4. So again, we can try an equivalent fraction. I'm going to turn my 1/2 into 2/4, just like we did before. But I still have a problem. When I want to do 2/4 minus 3/4, I can't. I have 2, I can't take away 3. That's not possible. So what should we do? Just like in subtraction, we're going to have to borrow from the wholes, so to speak. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to turn our 2 wholes into fourths. So I see here I have 2 wholes. That's the same as 8/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/4. So now I've turned everything over here into fourths. I have 10/4. Now I can easily subtract my fourths. So I'm going to, one second. Okay, so it's time to subtract. First, I'm going to take away 3/4. So I had to subtract 3/4 here, so I do 1, 2, 3. Bye. Then I need to subtract 1 whole. So I subtracted this 1 whole from the number I started with. So let's look at what I have left. I'm left with 1, 2, 3/4. So by converting everything into fourths, it was easier for me to see what I needed to subtract. So that's a trick you can use anytime you have a subtraction problem where you're realizing that you can't just subtract the fraction from the fraction. You can also turn one or more of the wholes into a fraction. So today we're going to practice adding or subtracting mixed numbers, and I want you all to show your work on paper. You can use the online tool we've been using if you want to, but it won't let you put enough wholes to solve the problem. So you need to show your work on paper. Let's get started.